All right, everybody, what's up? How's it going? Thank you so much for being here for the second episode of the weekly podcast with 1 Million Kitties. I am Hyperion. This beautiful guy is 1 Million Kitties, and this is a podcast aimed towards streaming and growing on Twitch or YouTube. What in the heck are you doing? Dude, these hand gestures, man.
I was trying to wave to you and I looked the wrong way.
You realize you completely ruined my intro here, dude. You completely ruined it. We're going with it, though. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it very, very, very much. Tonight, we're going to be talking about getting started with streaming. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of great material in here for new streamers who are either wanting to stream on Twitch or whatever their platform of choice is and are looking for some kind of, points to get started with, things that they should be focusing on, etc., to help out their channels. First of all, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it very, very much. And the question on everybody's mind right now, 1 Million Kitties, is are you wearing underwear right now?
I'm actually not wearing any pants.
You're actually not wearing pants. Is this true?
I'm sitting in a chair with a towel on, like with a towel underneath, and I just have a shirt on. Okay. It's the most comfy that way.
Well, this is being recorded with video too, and I do plan on uploading this to YouTube. So don't.
Well, let's hope you don't get demonetized.
Well, either that or let's hope you don't have to get up in the middle of the stream and
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah. Whew. So yeah. Alrighty, is this stream 18 plus? Somebody said in the chat. No. Well, should it be? I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. Maybe we should. But
NSFW.
So we're going to get into it. We're going to spend about, 45 minutes or so talking about the topics at hand. Of course, we have a Q&A as well at the end of the stream. You guys can access that form anytime you want during the stream by using command Q and A. It's Q ampersand A. I think it's ampersand or ampersand, whatever. You guys know what I mean. The and sign. Q at sign A is how you could access that if you want to ask a question at the end of kind of like the spiel here in the podcast topic discussion. We'll be answering all of your questions. I do ask that they're related to the topic, but of course, if you have questions about streaming in general, that type of stuff is fine too. So, kitties, getting started on Twitch or getting started with streaming, what was your approach when you were deciding to get started with streaming, on Twitch? What were some things that you thought about that, would benefit you, or things that you wanted to focus on when you got started?
So really quick, when you ask get started, I started twice. I started way back when in last July, and then I started again in January of this year. Which one would you rather know? Or both of them?
Even. Both. You could offer a different perspective on both of them. Maybe things you learned at the second time or whatever. But yeah, either one is fine with me.
When I started streaming, I wouldn't even say streaming. When I started streaming the first time, I wasn't streaming. I was playing the game. I was having fun. I was being goofy, but I wasn't really streaming. I wasn't spending the time off stream to take care of myself, to take care of the stream. I was just hitting the going live button. I was just going and calling it good. And I'd say that's what was different about starting in January is I put a lot more time in off stream to make sure that the stream was a quality.
When you talk about quality, how do you define quality? Is it is it your stream personality? Is it the actual quality of the stream itself, as far as video and audio are concerned? And if so, what is more important, or is it all just kind of one cohesive thing?
I think it's all important. I think if you don't have the greatest quality stream, you'll be fine, but the higher quality stream that you have, the better. It can only get better. More people are going to want to watch a clear stream than they are a blurry one. But if you're also, but being entertaining and being someone that's likable is, I'd say, more important.
So as far as value points of your stream, you touched on a couple of these things right now in answering that question, things that you can add to your stream besides just playing a game while live. if you had to list and maybe elaborate on a couple of those things, what would those things be? Like what, from a perspective of somebody that's first starting out, like something that's important to a newcomer that maybe they should focus on.
Definitely alerts.
Really?
Like making sure your alerts are just nice. Like having good alerts, but like not having over the top tickers and bars and bunches of those things that look ugly on the stream, but having alerts that look good. Does that make sense? Sound good?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You said something about, like not having a bunch of crap on the stream, and I think that's like,
yes.
This is something I see new streamers focus, or new streamers struggle with, actually, a lot of times. Like I'll go into to single digit viewer streams once in a while, and I'll just kind of see who's out there, and it's pretty common among brand new streamers that they feel like they have to go all out with all of these like crazy looking overlays and and
their
alerts,
schedules and their everything.
Yeah, like top donators and subscriber count or follower goals or whatever, like all on the screen, like just kind of like taking up all the real estate. And I feel like the big problem with that is that it takes away focus from the person actually streaming the game. It's like if I go into a stream, like I was in a stream earlier, I was in another stream earlier, and somebody asked the question, what's one of the biggest turnoffs as a viewer when you're watching a stream? And for me, that's one of them. If I go into a stream and somebody in the chat said more overlays than screen, yeah. Like if I go into a stream and there's like crap just covering all over the place from every single which direction, it's like I feel a little bit anxious almost. Like I feel like uncomfortable.
What am I supposed to look at?
Like, oh my God, like there's like this thing here and this thing over here and this happening and this alert pops up and I'm just like, wow, like I almost feel like uncomfortable and like overwhelmed a little bit. And I think that's like a big turnoff for me. Like, would you agree with me in saying this, Kitys? Like, if you look at most big streamers, most very, very successful streamers on the platform, would you say they are more on the simple end of the spectrum or more on like the, complicated end of the spectrum? I mean, it's kind of like a loaded question right now, but it kind of offers itself to the point I'm trying to make, right?
I mean, it does. There are like, I wouldn't say that they're simple. They know how to make complicated look simple.
That's a really great point, actually. How would you explain that a little more, like elaborate on it a little bit more?
What streamer am I thinking of? It's not Summit. It's another one of the big boys. I mean, look at Ninja, biggest streamer on Twitch. He has a clean overlay that's, it's on the left and it does pop up, but it's not in the way. You still get all of the Fortnite action that you're there for. Why can't I remember his name?
But Ninja's a good example. Like if you're looking at Ninja's stream, biggest streamer in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
And his overlay lends itself to a lot of information that you would be interested in as a viewer, like how many subs has he gotten in the past hour or whatever, or what was the last donation. But it's like non-intrusive, like it offers,
it
offers all the information you're looking for or you would be interested in, but it's like not in a way that's obstructing the game or obstructing the viewer or distracting in any way. Did you end up finding that person? I think you were searching for them.
No, I can't, but he's blonde. He's got a really nice camera.
Well, that's not me then, because I'm not blonde, right? So.
No, Lyric or Soda Poppin'. Let me look. Anyways, it might be Soda Poppin'. Yeah, it's Soda Poppin'. Soda Poppin's overlay. Whenever Soda Poppin' like switches between things, he's got great overlays. I mean, I don't really watch Soda Poppin' like ever. And I think I'm thinking of the right person. I don't know.
I've been watching Soda Poppin' a lot this week because of WoW's out. Guy's got like 50,000 viewers right now, man. It's crazy.
If you go look, don't look at his stream. Stay here. But
go look after. Yeah.
His camera is like set up to not cover any of his WoW hotkeys or his active effects.
Yeah.
And like it's that level of detail that they are pay attention to make their stream look better and simple and not as cluttered.
Yeah. Like again, there's a lot there, but it's presented in a way that's pleasing to the viewer. It's not obstructing what the viewer is interested in watching. So and you know, simplicity is always better than complexity, honestly, when streaming. I mean, it's if you don't, honestly, I'm of the thought of you don't even need anything besides a game capture and a camera and a mic. Like that's it. And like a keyboard to play on and like a controller and no, I'm just kidding. But like honestly though, like if you have a game capture and you have a camera and you have a decent mic and you know what you're doing, you're entertaining as hell, I promise you're going to do good. Like do good. I promise you're going to do well. Like I'm even of that thought, that school of thought. Agree, disagree?
I feel like it's important to have notifications, especially like for followers, right? When you're starting out.
Sure. When you're starting out though, yeah. I mean, if you're starting out, it's not a huge deal for all that stuff, right? I mean,
it's not huge, but I still think it's necessary. I don't think it's just a capture card and the game, I think, but it's again, it's not like a lot more. I do agree.
Okay.
I don't think you need anything on your screen if you just have, I mean, even not a camera, but yeah.
I mean, a camera, and we're talking about, you know, I guess that's a good segue into this point that I would like to make here is that, you know, something that you... What'd you say?
No, nothing.
That's kind of creepy, dude. It's like, shh, shh, shh. Anyways,
is that what it said?
I don't know. You're just whispering. You're just whispering sweet nothings into the mic, and I didn't catch it. All right, jeez. Talking about camera, you know, do you prefer a camera over not having a camera, and if so, why?
At first, I was like, I'm never touching a face cam.
Yeah.
I don't need a face cam, but
I think a lot of people feel like that. Like they're like so adverse to it. Like they're almost like lash out against it. Like and I don't know. Like I don't get that.
Something changes. Like you're like, all right, I see a lot of these streams working because they have a face cam. I'm gonna get a face cam. And then like you get a face cam and you understand the magic of it. You understand like why it makes the stream that much better. And it's kind of I think face cams, while not necessary, help you grow and interact with people a lot better.
I think one of the things, and I definitely agree with you there, like 100%. I think as a streamer, your job is to connect with the people watching you. That's your job. If you do that job well, you're going to do well in this, you know, this hobby or business or whatever, however you want to define it. You're going to do well in streaming, right? Your job is to connect with the people watching. If you could do that, you're going to do really, really well. And I think that having a face cam kind of adds that personal connection, you know, with the people that are watching you. It puts a face to the name, right? Mm-hmm. When I used to watch Kitys, he sounded like a really, really cool guy. And he sounds like a really, really, you know, fun, upbeat, hilarious guy. But I was always thinking in my head, what does this guy look like? You know, I would love to see what this guy looks like. So it adds that personal connection to the people watching you. And I think that's what you should be going for as a streamer. Like if you're talking about there's like somebody said a stream I was watching earlier mentioned there's like 3.4 million broadcasters like on Twitch right now. Like, yep. Are you kidding me? Absolutely insane.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you're going to try to separate yourself from the rest of that pack, that personal interaction is a great way to start. And that's something that is not that difficult. I mean, it could be difficult for some people, but it's not like a complex thing where you have to sit here and think like for hours on end, like, oh my God, how do I personally, you know what I mean? It's not like one of those things. It's kind of like just a simple thing, like, you know, like looking into the camera that when you're talking to somebody, you know what I mean? Like looking into, like if somebody asks a question in my chat right now and I look into the camera while I'm answering that question and I say, you know, hey, Mr. Rusty, that's a really, really great point that you just made. And I'm looking directly into the camera. It's like you kind of feel like connected to the person streaming, don't you? Or no?
So I'm actually like the opposite. I think you should
Really?
almost never look into the camera.
Really? It's
I
interesting
think
we're finding some things we disagree on here, which is good. I like this. This is good discussion.
I think staring into the camera should be used like as like a.
Well, not staring into the camera. I'm not like sitting here like this. Like, hey guys, my name's Hyperion, and I'm streaming a game right now, and I'm very, very glad you're here. And I'm not doing that.
If you just want to respond to the one person, I feel like it's better to stay focused, like have your eyes on the game. But like, I'm trying to think of a situation. Let's say that I'm playing Bloons Tower Defense and I just died due to me not putting down the rocket balloon correctly, and it's all my fault, and I just I think that's funny.
But that's funny though, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think that's when it should be used. But I think if you're just talking and like looking into the camera, like it's kind of tough when me and you aren't in person because we can't look at each other. But
well, I'd love to look at you all day long.
But I don't think you should. I think you should almost never look into the camera. Ever.
Really? Wow, interesting. Because I look in the camera a lot. If you, I mean, you watch my streams a lot. I mean, I don't know if you actually watch or you just lurk. Do you watch my streams? Tell me now.
Okay. I leave them on for like an hour and a half, then I have to go eat dinner. And if I'm back before dinner's over, then the stream is on.
So you watch a little bit.
Right. I watch like 2 hours of the stream a night, okay? But I'm on the whole time, okay?
But I look into the camera a lot when I'm like addressing chat or if I'm talking to somebody. Like I love looking into the camera when I'm speaking because I feel like it adds like that personal connection there. But you're kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, which is interesting. And I guess I could see some people, especially people that lurk, I think maybe this would apply to, because there's a lot of people that just lurk, right? I think if like you know, if I'm a lurker and somebody's looking into the camera at me, like just by nature of being a lurker, I'm kind of like a passive watcher, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like I'm not really active in chat. I'm not gonna like meme it up in the chat. I'm not gonna like, you know, put myself out there because I'm just lurking, right? So I could certainly see from a lurking perspective if somebody is like looking into the camera, it kind of makes them. I guess it could make them a little bit uncomfortable, but I feel like most people on Twitch, I mean, I don't know though. I feel like
I like if you watch any of the big streamers or the like the super massive, I don't think I've ever seen them look into the camera.
Doc looks into the camera a lot.
Okay, but that's Doc.
But that's one example of, I mean, he looks into the camera, you know, he's got the sunglasses on. But yeah, I could see what you're saying. Like Ninja, I mean, Ninja does it like rarely, but not much. And it's like Summit, yeah.
I always thought that was him looking at his monitor.
That's actually, you know what? Somebody else said that in this, in another stream I was saying is that, you know, they were doing an interview with this person and they said, you know, I look into the monitor to talk to chat, but it looks like I'm looking into the camera when I'm actually not looking into the camera. So that's interesting too.
Right, since they all have their monitors like up and to the right of them.
Yeah, but how would you know either way? One way or the other, you know what I mean, at that point. Excuse me. So interesting that we're finding, so we kind of disagreed on a couple things here so far, which is good discussion. So I mean, it just goes to show you guys, like,
everybody's different.
Everybody is different. Yeah, different things work for different people. You know, think something that works for Doc might not work for me. You know, seriously, like if I tried to do Doc's shtick and I tried to come up with like
it's so hard.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying it's hard for everybody. Doc's the only one that can do it.
Are you saying it's hard for everybody, or are you saying it's hard for me?
I'm saying it's hard for everybody. Deal. I looked the wrong way again.
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
yeah, you did. It's all right though, dude. We're good. It's the other way you think, you know, that you're looking, but different things work for different people. Like if I came up with like a character, and I've actually thought about this. Like I thought about this when I first started. It's when I was watching people like Doc. Do I have to have a character? Do I have to like have a shtick that I do? I mean, not like a shtick, because I think everybody has like their own shtick, but like, do I have to like create this character and like write how this character is gonna be and stuff like that? Like for me, that'd be an absolute disaster. Like it would never work. I mean, I just like sitting here and being myself, and highlighting certain aspects of my quality, or certain aspects of my personality on stream, you know. But I could never sit here and just be like completely a different character. It would be awkward. It would be cringy. It'd be terrible, right?
I mean, you never know till you try.
Right? But yeah, like, so I guess, so we hit on a couple things here with adding things to your stream besides just playing the game while live. I'd like to move on to something else, because this is actually something that I'm going through right now, and this is something that I saw Crack in the stream, who he's kind of going through right now. And I think this is something that a lot of people go through, is going from a single game stream to a variety stream. Like, now I'm not going from single to variety, but I'm variety in a sense right now that I'm trying different games out. It's a really, really tough thing, man. Like, what are some challenges, Kitys, in your opinion, of streaming streaming variety versus a single game? Like, what are some kind of like advantages and disadvantages of each that you can think of right now?
Really quick before I answer that, I think it's important to know that the switching games and the loss of viewer count that comes with that does not speak to your quality as a streamer. It doesn't mean you're a bad streamer because you have less, which I think is something that a lot of people like. It's really hard not to think that. Yeah. It's like, there's like, why? Yeah. So yes, I just wanted to preface with that. Like,
it's a great
even
point.
if you have less members, you're still a great streamer.
Because I mean, I was, and I'll let you get into your point here, but just to you know, kind of piggyback off that a little bit, I was streaming to 130 viewers every single night playing For Honor. Every single night, at least 100, at the minimum 100 viewers every single night when I was playing For Honor. I've been barely hitting 40 playing Monster Hunter World this week, and I would be lying if I said, you know what, if sometimes I kind of get a little bit down on myself. Like, am I not good enough? You know, and being partnered on the platform too, it kind of like adds that, like, it kind of adds like something different too, because it's like, well, if a viewer comes into your stream and you have like 20 people watching because you're playing a new game, and they see your check mark, they go, oh, this guy's partnered? Like, he's only got 20 viewers, man. He sucks. Like, so that's a really good point that you just brought up, is that it does not necessarily mean that the quality has suffered. It just means you're playing something different, right?
Well, it's just, even as a person, you're not a bad streamer. It's just, you're doing something different.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But
it's hard.
So advantages and disadvantages, because I think a lot of new streamers, I think one of the things that a streamer needs to figure out is if they want to go variety or if they want to go single game, or kind of like maybe a balance between the two, because, you know, there's two totally different paths of growth there, right, Kitys?
Yes, I agree. So I've never streamed another game besides For Honor, just because I adore For Honor. I think it's an amazing game. But noticing people that do variety stream, I'm going to use Sabai Guy as an example because I like Sabai Guy quite a bit.
Yeah, he's a great example. Yeah,
I think the viewers that you find while variety streaming stick for the streamer more than they stick for the game. Like, Sabai Guy, no matter what he plays, has like 50, 60. Which, I mean, I personally like despise looking at numbers that way, and despite like I don't hate it. I mean, I think it's important, it's part of the thing, but I hate valuing everything off of that.
Yeah. It's hard not to.
It's hard not to, but that's its own thing. That's a personal thing. But I think the people that watch you for variety watch you for you, whereas the people who might watch you for a game watch you for the game. Like, you're their favorite streamer playing that game.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I happen to agree with that. Sabai Guy's a great variety streamer. I mean, he's, you know, he brings the same amount of energy every single stream, and yeah, it doesn't matter what the heck this guy's streaming. I always see him at least at 50, which if you're at 50, I feel
no matter
like,
what you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, except for like the top Fortnite, except like the top, I really hate Fortnite as a game to grow on Twitch, by the way. But That's a common topic for another day. But if you're at 50, most directories you're going into, you're going to be up there. You're definitely going to be in a position to grow in that directory for sure. So Bye Guy's a great example. And yeah, I never even thought of that before until now, until you just said that, which is one of the great things I love about doing something like this is that, yeah, if I have 50 viewers concurrent, no matter what I stream, they're here with me for the long haul.
That's so good. Like, that's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's a really, really great point. I think it's a harder path to growth, though, for somebody that's first starting out.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I think it is the much slower path that I think maybe might benefit more in the end. That's a maybe though. Like that last point is kind of up in the air. But I think it is much slower just because it's harder to be found.
Yeah, that's the big challenge. Like, and I guess for me, the spectrum between variety streamer versus single game streamer, I think comes down to what you value more as a streamer. For example, if I'm just starting out and I'm thinking about what type of streamer I want to be, variety is one type and single game is another type. But whatever I value more is going to dictate which one of those I gravitate more towards. Like, for instance, if I value just having fun, not getting bored, new experiences every single night, I'm probably going to be more like a variety streamer, because that's just my personality, right? Those are things that I look for.
I think that's a lot of people, honestly. I think a lot of streamers still want to have like a lot of fun playing games, and it can be hard to stick to one game for a long time just because you might not enjoy that game every single day.
Yeah. And I mean, that's a challenge though. Like you said, like if you're constantly streaming something different, you have such a limited time in those directories that, it's going to be really, really tough to grow. Or, you could potentially alienate portions of your community, like for me right now, and for other streamers that stream For Honor, that are going into new things right now. I went from 130 to 40, so there's 90 people that aren't interested in me. They just want to watch For Honor. That's like, I mean, that's something that's kind of tough to come to grips with, but that's the path you're taking. That's why variety is so freaking difficult. So for me, I believe the best way, the fastest way, probably not the best because I think best is certainly subjective, but the fastest way to grow on Twitch is to stream one game for like 6 months to a year. You stream that game as much as you can and you just grind it out. And I mean, that's what I did. I started from scratch. Nobody knew my name in June of last year. I went from 0 to 130 viewers average to partnered in 10 months on Twitch, streaming what many people consider a quote dead game. There wasn't a lot of viewers in that game to begin with. I was able to work my way up in the directory. So that's the advantage of streaming single game. And that goes back to like my kind of like my philosophical question that I'm asking. If you really value growth more than anything else, and yeah, like you value your community, you value building relationships with people and that's how it always should be, regardless of what you stream.
Always.
But
always.
If you're like me, and I said, I want to grow as fast as possible. I want to build as many relationships as I can as fast as possible. What's going to get me there the easiest? It's streaming one game 100% of the time. Agree or disagree, kiddies?
I don't like putting a time frame. I don't like putting a time frame on it.
Well, yeah. Because sure. Results are going to vary. Definitely.
Like results are going to vary like a lot. Like if you could put your nose to the grindstone, you're going to get there eventually, of course. But I mean, I agree because it's what happened to me.
It's what happened to me too.
So I don't really have like an outsider's point of view on it. But I do think it's going to be different per person and how much work you're willing to put into it and how much like I shouldn't say willing, I should say able to. How much work you're able to put into it, because maybe you only have however much a day to do it, and it just things limit you, and But yeah, I do think from my experience, growing in one game was definitely better. Growing in one game was definitely faster. I mean, got me partnered. So yeah, yeah. What if I value money? Crack?
What if I value? Well, listen, we're all partnered on the platform, right? That must mean that we're all making like buku bucks, right?
Yeah,
I'm just going to work every day, honestly, just because I have the choice to. Because I mean, I make like $10,000 a stream, so like because I have a purple check mark. So yeah, I mean, of course, we all value money. That's all. That's why you should really stream is because of the money, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like if you don't get $400 in donations on the first day, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah, obviously, for sure, man, definitely. And you know what? The best way to get donations is to just have every single tab in your profile on Twitch be a donation tab, not just one, not just one panel. Like make 6 panels on your Twitch profile and have every one of them say donate. And I'll tell you, man, easy money. Money.
Or go for the trick and have your Twitter panel actually take you to the donation. Yeah, there we go.
That's next level, dude. Dude, you know what you're doing, man. Holy crap, I'm taking notes right now. This is my damn show. Jeez. Freaking awesome, man. That's next level stuff right there. Yeah. If you guys can't tell, we're being sarcastic. Are we? Actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm being
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I think we covered variety versus single game, which is good because I think a lot of people don't understand the path to growth for each one. People think they can just stream variety and they're gonna get 100 viewers like in a month. Yeah, it could happen. It's not impossible.
You are
but
really lucky.
You
got hosted by Admiral Baru every single day for a month.
Yeah. So and it's funny when I see people say, well, I'm not growing on Twitch. It's hilarious, and I'll hit 2 quick points on this before we move on to the next topic. Regarding single game, it is absolutely absurd how I still hear this. Kitties, you know what I'm gonna say.
Fortnite.
I've been streaming on Twitch for 6 months, and I have like 1 viewer a stream. What am I doing wrong? And I respond, what game do you play? And the person responds, I play Fortnite. Every single time. It's hilarious how much I hear that still. And then likewise, not hilarious at all, honestly, but likewise, I've been streaming on Twitch for 6 months and I have, 3 viewers a stream. What am I doing wrong? Well, what game do you play? I play variety. I've been playing variety. It's tough, man. It's tough.
It's tough.
You got to know what you're getting into with variety. The same with a single game stream. You got to know what you're getting into regarding streaming a saturated game, which is we're not really going to talk about that tonight, but we're certainly going to talk about that because I can make a whole stream on that, a whole podcast on that.
You can make a 4-hour stream on that.
I could talk for 4 hours about why you shouldn't stream Fortnite. I mean, so you got to be strategic with with whatever path you decide to take, whether it's variety or single game. Just because I'm grinding out Fortnite for a year, not quite. But if I'm streaming something way less saturated for a year, that'll work. Likewise with variety, it's tough, man. You got to be strategic with both. And last final thing before I move on, if you grow in variety, those viewers, like Kitty said, they're there with you for the long haul, man. I mean, those are the
you.
They like you for what you are doing, and they're gonna follow you, and that's really good. So that's a huge advantage of variety for sure that I didn't think of before.
Juggerty makes a great point too. Unless you already have an audience from YouTube, like if you didn't stream before, and say if you get you get a couple 100,000 views on a YouTube video every time you stream, and you get 1,000 viewers whenever you stream on Twitch, then yeah, you can stream whatever the hell you want.
Excellent point.
Yeah,
Kenzo wasn't even on Twitch a month ago. Kenzo was he? I don't think
he streamed for a while ago on Twitch, I think, but he stopped for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, he's back at it, obviously. Yeah, getting partnered.
So Kenzo, but he had an audience to come with, to bring to Twitch. But yeah, if you have an audience on YouTube, and that, a decent percentage of those people are going to follow you, that's a huge advantage. And really, and final thing, I promise. But we can talk about this here. I know I'm like going off the rails here, guys. Listen. All right, it's my show. Well, it's our show. It's our show. Have you been seeing this more often? Because this is something that I'd love to talk about just really quickly. Have you been seeing this a lot, Kitys? Because I definitely have. I see big YouTubers, or not like huge YouTubers like PewDiePie level, but certainly YouTubers with like 50,000, 100,000 subscribers. They're making videos on YouTube saying that they're going live on Twitch. Have you been seeing that? Because I've been seeing that a lot lately. Maybe I'm just noticing it more.
They have, and I thought YouTube banned them, actually. Not the actual streamers, but YouTube was getting rid of those videos. Like, they were like, if you post this video, you're going to get a strike.
Ooh,
so
okay,
that's why I was surprised to see Kenzo posting one the other day, because it was like they just didn't want a bunch of 18-second videos of saying, hey, I'm going live. And it's just like, and then they get ad revenue from it and they make money, and it's just like fills up and it doesn't do anything. And yeah.
So it's good.
I mean, it doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't help anything.
So it's good that you said that, because I was about to say, if you have a YouTube audience, why the hell wouldn't you do that? But if it's against their terms of service, or if it's breaking a rule of some kind, you definitely want to read up on that before doing that. But honestly, that's something that I've thought about doing. But now I'm not so sure because of that. So yeah, that's a great point. Somebody said it happens all the time. Yeah, but I mean, if you have the audience and you're trying to funnel that audience into one platform,
I mean,
really good
strategy.
Even
if the first Twitch stream you make like a 5-minute video saying, hey, I'm streaming on Twitch now, and you're a big YouTuber, that's all you need. Like, sure, posting it on your YouTube. I mean, YouTube now has a thing where you can post like a thing to your community, though. What is that? You just put like a message.
Somebody just said that. Violent Rebirth actually made that point. You don't make it as a video, you make it as a community post.
Yeah, that works. Like, I don't think YouTube gets mad at that.
Yeah, but I could definitely see them getting mad if you make like a minute video and you get ad revenue off that. It gets like 100,000 views, and then all those people are going to Twitch. I can see YouTube getting a little bit pissed off about that.
Here's a free like $400 for saying you're going live.
Easy money, because that's what it's all about, right? The money.
That's what it's all about.
Let's talk
those
about.
Words feel gross coming out of my mouth.
Oh my gosh, I know, dude. It's not about the money, guys. It should never be about the money. Let's talk about consistency and investment really quick here, because this is the next point on my little outline here. So, if you are serious about growth, do you think, Kitys, it's important to have a schedule? Why or why not?
Yes, and the answer to why or why not is also yes. Why?
All right, well, thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate it very, very much. That's going to wrap things now. Go ahead, Kitys.
Why it's important is because people expect you there at a certain time. People expect you, like they look, I shouldn't say expect, they look forward to it. They're like, my favorite streamer is going live at 4 p.m. PST. Like, heck yeah, I can't wait. And then if it doesn't happen, they're like, oh, I'll just go watch somebody else then.
Yeah.
And that's just like, and then also it helps you. Like, if you are ready to like stream from here, like if I say you don't even really need an end time. I think that's a personal thing though. I think like streaming, like, oh, I'm going to stream at least 5 hours or I'm going to stream at least 4 hours is important. But having a consistent start time is the most important thing.
I think it shows an investment in what you're willing to do. Now,
that's very true too.
I'm prefacing all this with, if you're serious, if you're like me, like, I want to grow on Twitch as much as possible. I want to make this my career one day because I really, really believe in this and what I can do here. You have to show an investment. What were you going to say, Kitys?
Well, I agree, but I think a lot of people go into Twitch with that mindset. They just don't know how to do it. And it's tough if they don't know how, and they don't know how to learn even. But I do think everybody goes in with the idea of hoping to get the stream dream. Maybe it's different for different people. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you go into Twitch, maybe not expecting the stream dream, you'll be happier. I know that sounds weird.
Yeah, good point.
But
great point.
If you're not worrying and it just kind of happens, great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. I think for me, it's more of like a goal, but it's not something that's going to like if the stream dream doesn't happen, I'm not gonna like my life isn't gonna be ruined, you know, that
Right, it's
type
not
of
going to
thing.
collapse.
But it would be nice if it did. And I feel like for me personally, you know, Twitch is like the first thing in my entire life. And I'm 30 years old, so I've been here a little while. This is the
Just
first.
a tad. You can't just
You
go
jerk.
quiet.
Going silent for a podcast. But like for me, this is the first thing in my life that I feel like I really, really believe in. And that really makes me happy, that I feel like I'm talented in and I feel like I'm good at. Like I tried the music thing for a while, that didn't work out. I tried starting a couple businesses and I found I just wasn't really passionate about them. This I'm passionate about. I'm ready to go, man. I'm all in with this right now. But yeah, like you shouldn't expect it to happen. But I guess on a certain level, maybe you can if you feel like, I know that if I put in enough work,
You're going to see results.
I have a great chance of it happening. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, it's such a, it's a lofty goal. But if it's a goal if that's your goal, like it is for me, you have to invest in it because people are going to notice you're looking into the camera. You said you never looked into the camera.
What? I didn't look into the camera once. I'm looking at myself this whole time.
I totally just derailed myself there. But like people are people are going to notice if you're not investing in your stream, Kitys. Is that, I mean, from a viewership perspective, if they see that you're half-assing it, maybe that's fine for you. Like if you just want to go live and play video games, maybe that's fine for you. But if you're taking this seriously, if you want to make that dream happen, you got to invest in it.
If you want to create good content, or like if you want to create great content on your own standards,
yeah,
or by your own standards, is I guess like because that's such a thing, is because like maybe there's people that do, I don't know how to explain that, but like there's people that genuinely care. It just might not. I don't know how to explain that. I think it just sums it up to it's different for everybody.
It depends on what you want out of it. Right.
It depends on what you want out of it, but I mean, it could be different if you go in with the goal of having the big stream dream, and like you said, your life isn't going to collapse. But if it's someone that does invest like a year and a half, 3 years into it, that video the guy made, what was that YouTube video where there's the guy who streamed for 3 years trying to make his dream come true, and he gave up his life pretty much. He gave up going out with friends. He gave up going out, and the dude, that one, Violent Rebirth. I mean, I hate going by it's the dude who cried, but he like, it was just like depressing. It was like he was like depressed. His life wasn't working out. He didn't have friends anymore. He didn't, just because he poured so much into his stream. And I think that's the dangerous part of going in with expecting the stream to work.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily put it that way, like expecting it to work, but that's a great point. Like, cause there are times like, you can't over invest, right? Like you need to invest if you want to be successful at whatever you do. But there is a fine line between investment, like healthy investment, or like investment that's going to detriment your life and your friendships and your personal relationships with people. And that's certainly excuse me, that's something that I've had to deal with on occasion here. I think I do a good job of it because I still have my 9-to-5 job that I work. I hang out with my wife. But when I started, especially early on, my wife and I would have fights over how much time I spend into this, how much time I put into this. We would fight about it. We fought a few times, and these were intense fights, like both of us like upset, afterwards. So yeah, it's really, really great to want to invest into something and want to try to make something work. But you can't do that. You got to be responsible with it too. Like that guy, yeah, that's really, really sad. Like that's a sad story because if you cut off all of your relationships, and you quit your job, and you just
don't have any connections. You don't have
any connections, and you can't pay your rents or your mortgage. So you have to you got to be careful with that, man, because there is certainly a line between what I would consider a healthy amount of investment and over investing, both from a financial and a personal standpoint. You got to be careful with that stuff, man. It's easy to lose that balance. Balance is a huge,
I think that's
deal.
I think that's the key word of today's podcast. Balance.
Yeah. Balance is a big deal. And somebody else mentioned this too, another prominent streamer. The name is escaping me right now, but I think it might have been even Broman, Professor Broman.
Wasn't that tweet he made?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to have balance, man. Like, if you want to stream, like I stream 15 hours a week and I have my 8 to 5 job. And then on the weekends, if I can help it, I don't even touch my computer. I don't even log on Twitch. I'm off of Twitter for the most part because I want to spend time with my wife because I don't want that relationship to crumble. So you got to find that balance. Like in the case of that person in that video that you just cited, that's where passion can kind of get you into trouble a little bit there. If you're cutting off all of your relationships, that's not something that you should ever do. You need time away from it. It's great to be passionate about it, but you need time away from it too. But back into what I would consider a healthy amount of investment, Kitys. How easy is it for you to tell as a viewer that somebody is investing enough into their stream? Is it easy to pick up on, or
No.
sometimes because sometimes for me I can instantly tell, well, this person doesn't really. He's not really putting his all into this, and that again, that could be fine depending on what you want out of your channel. But is it easy to pick up on those people or no?
I try not to do that because, like Crow said, he doesn't have the money to get the proper equipment, and you can do things to get that proper equipment. But I don't know this streamer's personal life. They might have something going on where they can't get a job. Maybe I don't know at that point, but I try not to think about how much effort they're putting in. I like to see if I like them. And then I'm not going to name anybody or do any examples just because that would be rude, but I don't know. It is easy to tell, but I try not to judge because there's always room to improve for each person. They can do what they can to get better.
I think that maybe I should, and I agree with that 100%, 1,000%. I think maybe I should clarify where I'm coming from though, because I'm not sitting in here and I'm not judging any. I'm judging, but I'm not there's just things that I'm noticing, right? I'm not going into somebody's stream with the intention of putting them on a under a microscope and making a case study on them.
Is
actually,
actually,
your colors don't completely match here. I'm not going into the stream for that.
God.
But for people who
please never do that.
Oh my God, not with that voice either, dude. Dear God, never use that voice. But it's I'm not going into streams looking to judge people, but I can tell when somebody is, I guess maybe I can't, but if somebody's serious about it, like me, I'm serious about it, right? And you came into my stream and I was just kind of whatever, I'm sitting here just kind of playing the game, not reading chat. Oh, hey, yeah, what's up, dude? That to me is more what I'm talking about. I can tell this person is not really interested too much in what's going on even. They're just kind of hanging out there. And again, that's perfectly fine. If you're okay with that, it's your channel and that's perfectly fine, right? But
right.
If you don't have the finances,
right,
you don't have a job,
yeah,
you can make up for that in other areas. If you don't have a ton of money to spend on equipment, I feel like entertainment trumps everything. Entertainment beats everything. It beats fancy overlays. It beats a fancy camera. It beats a fancy mic. It beats everything. If you are entertaining and you are engaging and you're talking to people and building relationships with them, that's going to get you to where you need to go to be able to reinvest in those other things that could supplement that. But I feel like it starts with the person. It starts with the person streaming the game. And if they're, if they don't have the best video quality, but dude, this guy's funny as hell and he's talking to me and he does a great job at keeping the conversation going. doesn't that trump it in certain areas? Doesn't that trump it, Kitys, or no?
Yeah, no, if you're a good person, then yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. I'm reading chat right now as well. I'm reading like just what Crow is typing.
We're getting a lot of good
And
comments right now, guys. I wish I could keep up with them
I
all,
mean,
but
and what Crack said as well about what's cool about streaming is there's a massive amount of free resources that you can use for the medium. A lot of things you can do to make your stream look better without spending money. Like a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um,
and that
yeah.
just shows that you're willing to invest in it, for
Yep.
sure. And I think people time and efforts, not necessarily the finances. Yeah, because I mean, none of us are rich. If we were rich, do you think I'd be sitting here right now with you? Come on, man. I'd be out on an island on my yacht right now with Ninja if I was rich.
I'm rich and I'm sitting here with you. So.
Yeah. But, I think a lot of people, because investment's like a business term, I guess, a lot of people equate that with money. But that's not always the case. It's effort, it's time,
it's time. That's where a lot of the real
effort is, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think
time, the one thing I don't have. Old rusty bones, I feel you.
Yeah, time. I mean, I wish I had. If there was one thing I had, if there was one thing besides money that I could wave a magic wand and just get an infinite amount of, it would be time. I said earlier today to a coworker, I wish I had an extra day in the week. If there was one extra day on the weekend that I could like work on stuff for the stream or socialize with people in my Discord or go in and network with people and build relationships and friendships, man, like, dude, that would be so freaking awesome. But that's the world in which we live. So, but I think people can appreciate somebody who puts in the effort, puts in the time, and puts in the investment.
Yes. I think it's more obvious for sure. If someone does, it's more obvious. Though they can put in a lot of that time and investment and love into it, and it might not be as obvious. So I try not to judge.
No, definitely. No, don't be a jerk and start judging a bunch of people. And I saw 1Millionkitys today, and he did that. Don't do that. But it's good to have a critical eye, and this is something that I started with actually. It's good to have a critical eye and look at people that are around you, because you're going to be competing with everybody, right? And so when I started, I would go into a lot of streams and be like, what's this person doing that's working? What did I wish this person was doing from a viewer perspective? Because I think if you can answer those questions, and then you can take the answers to those questions and apply them to your stream, that's going to attract more viewers, or at least the types of viewers that think along those same lines. And then if you get those types of viewers that think like kind of like you, that kind of like emulate your personality, that's how you build a community, right? I mean, that's how I approached it, at least, and it seemed to have worked for me so far.
That's networking, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But there is a difference between watching somebody with a critical eye and just judging to be a jerk. Don't judge to be a jerk, but it's absolutely fine to watch with a critical eye if you want to think of things that person is doing or things that you wish that person would do. I think there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't think that makes you a jerk either. Kitys.
I think to some people it might sound high and mighty, but that's like not what's trying to be said. It's not high and mighty. It's just observing and being critical.
Yeah, and if there are people that think you're high and mighty and think that you're on your high horse and all that stuff, if they think that of you, those aren't the type of people you want watching you anyways. So, forget it. Just, brush it off your shoulders and move on. Kitys. So this leads me into my final question. And then, guys, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. We do have
I don't want to answer this.
We do. It's a tough question, but it has to be said, or it has to be asked.
It's going off of that high and mighty thing. I despise. I mean, I don't despise talking about myself, but trying to put myself in a nice light, I hate doing it.
But isn't it a question that needs to be answered though? Because I think it's your value point. It's your competitive edge that you're gonna bring, right?
I mean, I'm competitive, but I'm not like competitive. I don't know.
Well, we'll ask the question and then we'll see where it takes us. But before I ask the question, guys, we do have a Q&A after I'll try to elaborate on this question for about maybe 10 more minutes or so. We do have a Q&A though. If you guys want to do Command Q ampersand A in the chat, Command Q and A, that'll take you to a Google form where you can ask questions. And after this, we will read the questions live on stream. We'll spend probably about maybe half an hour or so reading questions. But I do want to ask this last question because a great streamer that I feel like has taught me a lot without even directly ever speaking to me asked this question, and he, averages like 1,000 viewers a stream, and it's somebody that I really look up to. So I guess for this, I wanted to ask this question myself, and this is the question Kitys has a little bit of discomfort with, but we'll get through it, dude, I promise. And maybe I can answer it first here to give you some time to think about it. I think as a streamer, the question that you need to be able to answer for yourself is, why should anybody watch you? Why should anybody watch you? What am I offering that somebody else isn't, that is going to differentiate me from the other 3.4 million broadcasters that are out there? And it's a tough question to answer, for sure, because it's uncomfortable.
So difficult.
It's uncomfortable. Somebody says, hey, you've been watching Say No to Rage. Yes, I have, Slow Revive. He's the person I'm actually referring to. I really look up to Say No to Rage because he thinks about these things in a similar way than I do. And he asked this question on his stream. Why should anybody watch you? What are you bringing to the table that's different than the other guy? Because it's not enough to sit here and just stream a game. Because there are 3.4 million broadcasters on the platform that are sitting here and streaming a game. You have to decide, and you have to highlight what makes you different from the next person or the people around you, because you're competing with those people in a sense, right? For me, it's a tough question to answer because, like, isn't it always a little bit uncomfortable, Kitys, to kind of like look inward like that and to kind of like, take an inventory on ourselves like that, because it's certainly uncomfortable for me too.
It's uncomfortable talking about it. I don't mind doing it. I just don't like talking about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll answer the question, and then if you want to answer it,
I gotta answer. I'm not gonna half-ass this. Like, I gotta answer.
You're showing investment in your stream.
But I gotta like answer. It's just I'm thinking about how to answer.
Let me ask you this: is it a question worth asking?
Why should anybody watch you? Well, it makes you it makes you self-reflect. Maybe you realize you're not doing something different. Maybe you realize that you're not doing something the way you'd like to be doing something. I think it's a great critical thinking question.
Yeah, but it's uncomfortable for sure. Like, yeah, I mean, it is awkward, looking inward and being critical of ourselves. Like, it's easy to be critical of others, but it's difficult to be critical of ourselves, right? For me, I asked myself that question when I started. Before I even knew who Say No to the Rage was, I asked myself, that question. What am I bringing to the table? Why is somebody watching me over the person below me or the person above me?
Wow, below?
Below in the directory, not like from a life standpoint, you jerk. Gosh almighty. For me, I consider myself somebody who is very, very passionate about building relationships. I want to build relationships with as many people as I can. And, I want to get to know them. I want to make friendships, right? So that's something that I really bring to my stream. When I talk to somebody, hey dude, what's up? Welcome back, man. It's great seeing you here. Hey, how was Maui Powie? Hey, how was your the party with your nephew that you had last weekend? Stuff like that I really try to focus on. That I think is a good start, but it's not the full equation. Because if I'm a viewer watching somebody else and they don't even acknowledge me in the chat, and I'm not getting that as a viewer, and that's what I'm looking for, I'm going to find somebody who does bring that. I also try to be educational when I watch my streams. I'm very, very strategic and very critical. If you haven't been able to tell already with my way of thinking. And I love talking about, like in For Honor, well, this guy's going to do this. And so I think I'm expecting him to do this, so I'm going to try to do this, right? Or taking a look at that match that I just lost. Why did I lose that match? What did I do? I didn't deflect enough, maybe. Maybe I could have deflected more. Here's what I'm going to try next time. You know what I mean? So I try to bring like kind of like an educational element to my streams as well. But it's a tough question to answer, because I think those are things that like a lot of people bring. A lot of people can potentially bring, but there's still things that are going to differentiate you from the rest of the pack. And I think that, I certainly wouldn't say that those are the only two things that I think maybe separates me from somebody else. But if it separates me from, the 80% of broadcasters that are in single digit viewers or at 0 viewers, that's most of the rest of the field, right? If they aren't doing that and I am, that's going to put me in a better position. What do you think about that, Kitys, from that type of standpoint? How I answered that question.
I'm just thinking.
That said, there's no right answer to this question, by the way. I should say
that. Yeah,
you're going to bring something different. Everybody's going to bring something a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean,
I can tell you're struggling with this.
Well, no, I'm thinking like, I am struggling. Like, oh God, I just don't know how to word anything.
It's tough. It's tough when we're critical of ourselves, how to put that into words, for sure. I struggled even now, just now, like explaining that I was rambling a little bit about it.
Well, just then you said, what do I think about it? Are you talking about yours or my why should anybody watch me? Or were you asking how I thought of yours?
Why should anybody watch you is what I was asking. Like, how do you think, would you answer the question? The tough one.
I put a quality above everything else in terms of like actual stream quality. If I go into a stream and I hear this on the mic, or if you're talking and your lips smack, it's not fine. It's not okay. But I try and do everything I can to make sure that applies to everything I do with the stream. I try to have my mic sound great. I spend a ludicrous amount of money on a computer to have an amazing stream.
Kitys
amazing
mentioned
looking
he's
stream.
Rich earlier. He actually is rich, by the way.
Yeah, why do you think I don't have a job?
Your streaming is your job. What do you mean, forehead?
But I think it's quality, and I just try, and I think it's such a broad answer, but I try to apply that quality to everything. I just try to always be quality entertainment, and I try to have a quality stream, and I try to have a quality, just overall quality is just high. That's what I'm going for. I just want a quality stream.
I can tell you, you do take a lot of pride in the quality of your stream. Like, even when we were talking earlier before we even got to this question, it's, you were talking about having good video quality, having good audio quality, being so clear important and concise. It's extremely important.
Like if you have a bad sounding mic, people I can understand if you don't have the money to put it in, but you can do things to make your mic sound better. You can put a sock over your mic and it's a windscreen.
Free windscreen.
It works. There's 100 different things you can do just to make it better. And
I think that, and it's a tough question to answer for sure, but it's a question that needs to be asked. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I answered that question perfectly, because I'm even thinking now of things that I probably should have said or would have said differently, likewise with Kitys, but you're competing with 3.4 million broadcasters on Twitch. You need to bring something different than streaming a game and sitting there and streaming a game. You have to, because when people talk about saturation, the biggest impediment to growth on Twitch is saturation. Now, you can talk about saturation in terms of the game you're playing, but you can also talk about saturation in terms of what you are bringing to the table. And I guarantee you 100% that sitting here and just streaming a game and that's it. Not even streaming a game, because I think Kitys put it in a way that I agree with. Playing a game while live, playing a game while on the internet, while people are watching you, I think is different from streaming. I think those are two totally different things.
Being a content creator.
Being a content creator. Playing a game while on the internet is saturated. I mean, there are 3.4 million broadcasters. That's what the vast majority of them do, right? So you can talk about saturation in terms of the game you're playing, but also what you bring to the table, and you need to bring something different. And that's why that question is so important. That's why that question needs to be asked and answered. And, maybe this was a little bit uncomfortable, but it's supposed to be. What's that? More than. But it's supposed to be uncomfortable because, it's a question that you need to ask yourself if you want to separate yourself from playing a game while on the internet versus content creator versus successful streamer. If you want to separate yourself from those two ends of the spectrum, you got to ask yourself that question. You got to find an answer to it. And it's tough, man. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. It is very, very, very difficult. So I think that's going to wrap up the actual discussion portion, the podcast portion of the podcast portion of the podcast, like how I did that. But so let's go into some Q&A now here. We'll spend as much time as we can without going over. If you guys have a question that you would like to ask, make sure you use Command Q&A in the chat. It'll take you to a Google form, and then Kitys and I will read the question live on stream, and we'll spend as much time as we can. I would like to wrap this up probably in about 25 minutes or so. So I'm going to shoot for...
We'll be quick.
I'm going to shoot for 20 minutes or so of reading your guys' questions. So let me see if I can pull up the form, and I'll read the first one here.
Okay.
And this is from Crimson Crow. Crimson Crow asks, can you talk about sponsorships for various things, including esports, and how best to get sought out? Because I see people were with really high and really low viewers getting sponsors. Love you both, by the way. Love you too, Crimson. Thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I actually don't know. Kitys, I know that you've done a little bit of seeking out with sponsorships. I mean, I think this process is very, very confusing for streamers. Like, when should I look hard. Yeah, when should I look for sponsors? Do I have enough viewers to find sponsors? And where should I look? I've actually struggled with this myself, and I don't quite know what the answer to it is, but I know, Kitys, you've looked at a couple things. Maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit better than I can.
So there's a couple really easy sponsors. I mean, and so I'm going to say easy just because, I mean, for Humble Bundle, to be a Humble Bundle sponsor, literally all you have to do is sign up. There's no form. I don't even know if that's a sponsor, I guess. But I mean, you get paid if you sell games through Humble Bundle. So it's the same thing. But it's really just going to websites that offer, like, Monster. I mean, Monster's a bad example because Monster doesn't really sponsor anybody. But like, Monster has a streaming form for not partners, but for sponsorship that you can fill out. And HyperX, and there's it's a lot of websites and a lot of popular brands have an actual section for filling out a sponsorship form. Again, if it's like Coca-Cola, you got to be Ninja.
Red Bull.
Or like some super massive like Jake Paul YouTuber. But
you don't want to be Jake Paul though.
No. But you get what I'm saying. You gotta you gotta be like PewDiePie sized. But in terms of those, like you said, small sponsors, it's usually like Green Man Gaming, Humble Bundle. Just getting any of those is great. Just like if you like, it's extra revenue, it's extra eyes out there. It's most of the game, and also I'm reading what Squirrel said. Most of the gaming stuff has a sponsor system, but it's not easy requirements. That is true. I think being a partner on Twitch definitely helps you get sponsored, just
Yeah,
because
that's
like
a
you're
pretty good
verified.
credential. Yeah.
It's like, oh, but you don't have to, but also having, of course, higher viewer count, because more people will see that sponsor and then they'll make more money. And yeah, it's getting a sponsor is really just, honestly, it's about having a bigger stream. Just having, like, you can have a really great quality stream, but you just might not have the viewers, and they care about people seeing their product.
Yeah, it's something that's very, very like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and I'm partnered on Twitch, and I've been streaming for a year now, and it's like, when do I do this? Like, what's like the minimum viewership requirement? But I don't think there really is one, unless it's like specifically stated. But
Yeah,
certainly
that's
more
true.
viewers, like the more viewers, the better. I mean, like 50 viewers, maybe it's 100.
I'd say 100.
You'd say 100.
I'd say 100.
I think I
For
think
some.
that, when do you think somebody should focus on that type of stuff, Kitties?
As early as possible.
Really?
I think the sooner you get into trying to find sponsors, the better time you'll have, easier and better time you will have actually getting into them and finding them later down the line.
Now, are you talking about as soon as possible? Like, if I'm a day one streamer, I should be looking for sponsors? Or are you talking about, like, if I get to a certain viewership, now's the right time?
I think it's both. Like, if you start looking from day one and you're just submitting applications, it doesn't hurt you. But they're not going to accept you. I mean, unless for some reason, like, there's like anyways. But I think the sooner you start looking, the sooner you start getting your name out there. You might get one that gets you at 15 viewers, and then suddenly you have a door in, and you're saying that you're sponsored by something else for another sponsor that you try to get down the line. I think the sooner the better, like, because it doesn't hurt to do it sooner.
I think that's a good point, actually, because before you just said that, I would think, maybe you should focus on building up viewers more before going into sponsorships. But like you said, can't hurt. Throw on an application. If they come into your stream, if they happen to come into your stream and say, hey, we really like your content, maybe the viewer count doesn't even matter at that point, right? Because if they like your content and want to sponsor you because of your content, they believe that you're going places. So yeah,
it'll help you grow.
Why not? Why the hell not? Sure. I mean, you never know until you're going to try, right? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yes, Michael Scott. What a man. What a player.
All right. Hope that answered your question, Crimson. Let's go on to the next one. Kitties, do you want to read it?
So, really quick.
Yeah.
We have to go a little bit quicker, don't we? I kind of spent like 5 minutes talking that time.
We did spend a long time on that. We always we always do this. Let's try to do like the rapid fire last time. How about we do like 2 minutes? Let's do
this next question's like, oh shit, too. So
let's do like 2 minutes max per question, and we both won't answer it. Like, if you read it, I'll answer. If I read it, you'll answer. How's that sound? Or do you want to both answer?
We can
You want to both answer?
We can both answer. I'm just trying to, like, I don't know. We're probably not going to get through all the questions if we do that.
Let's just try as fast as possible. Then
all right. Please. I believe Blitzkilla asks, what do you think about the recent small-scale rumors that claim streaming is a mockery?
I see just Fred. Did you say Blitzkilla?
You see just Fred? Well, then, I do not see the person's name next to who asked it.
Oh,
but
okay.
Anyways, what do you think about the recent small-scale rumors that claim streaming is a mockery, corrupt version of cinema, just as cinema was defined when it first became popular in comparison to theater? Jealousy, or is there some sort of truth to the rumors? I don't think it's silly. I just think they're two different mediums.
Yeah, I think it's silly to say streaming is a mockery of a different type of media. Like, yes, like you said, there's cinema and then there's streaming. I mean, they're two totally different things, right?
I think the people saying it's like cinema just are not watching streams.
Well,
I don't know a single stream that's like a movie.
Well, streaming is a very, very new form of media. So, it's like we were talking about on last week's episode a little bit, streaming is now in the mainstream, for lack of a better term, no pun intended, because of Ninja. Ninja played with Drake. Now a lot of people know what Twitch and Fortnite are. So it's like now you're going to have people that aren't familiar with this and saying, well, this is stupid. Just like people said esports is stupid. Esports isn't meant to, it's not real sports. Dude, like, it's just new. It's just different. Like, it's not like an insult to traditional sports, just like streaming is not an insult to traditional media. They're two totally different things. That would be like me saying books are a mockery of movies. Books are a mockery of movies. They're two different things, So it's like,
yeah,
I think it's kind of silly that people think that, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything you want to add to that, Kitys, or no?
No, I think that, and I think I just to sum it up, I think I think the people making that claim just haven't watched streams.
They just don't understand. It's the same people that
they just haven't watched streams. Yeah.
The people that are making that claim is the same people that say, why would you watch somebody play video games? Just play video games yourself. I feel like the people that say that are the people that also say that streaming is mocking cinema.
Something like that.
Really quick, Crack said a good point. Old media is dying.
I don't go see movies nearly as much, but that's because I have Crunchyroll. So
I think this is a conversation for another day too. But I think honestly, in 10 years, streaming is going to be bigger than television.
I mean, if we're not talking about just like if we're talking about streaming videos and movies, like
streaming anything. No,
yeah, like it's already bigger.
No,
I
like
think.
Not like Netflix and all that type of stuff. I'm talking about like Twitch. People are going to be more interested. Like what would
live television?
What do you think is cooler? If I watch,
I guess that makes me.
If I watch an episode of The Office, and I can't talk to Michael Scott, or the actor that plays Michael Scott, but if I watch somebody on Twitch doing something, I have direct communication with the entertainer. I have direct communication with the person running the show. I think that people like that. That's why Twitch has exploded, relatively quickly. I think that traditional, like TV, like newspapers even, and stuff like that. All that old media is going away and it's being replaced by stuff like this. And whenever that happens, you're going to have some backlash from people who are trying to hold on to that. Let's move on to the next question here, because I do want to. I feel like we're getting a little bit quicker, but not really that much. But we still kind of suck at this, guys. It's only our second episode. Soros says
we just don't give ourselves like 3 hours to answer all these.
Yeah, I wish I could, because I could talk all day long about it. Soros says, what advice do you have for a streamer whose success is perceived to be contingent on performance in game? Kitys.
I think that's a good goal. Like, I think being good at a game definitely helps. Like, I don't think there's any. I don't like using massive streamers as an example, but they're the easiest to use. Like, I don't think I've watched a single big streamer that's bad at a game. Like, every single streamer I watch that has above 1,000 viewers, I mean, unless they're just picking up the game, are pretty good at it. Your success is perceived to be contingent on performance in the game. I don't think that matters to everybody, is what I would say to that. It doesn't matter to everybody. It might matter to some how good you are, but it doesn't. I mean, like, there's people better than me at For Honor, but people still watch me. Like, if I'm not, like, I don't get upset for losing a match because I think people are going to leave because I lost. That's I guess that's my answer to that. Is it's okay to see that as your success, but don't base all of your success around that.
I think that entertainment beats gameplay from a streaming perspective 100% of the time.
It's still important to be good at the game, though.
I think that it certainly helps to be good at the game. I would rather watch somebody who's entertaining. That's just me. Like, if Tim the Tatman dies in Fortnite because he sucks at Fortnite, and then I get to sit here and laugh because he does it in a hilarious way, and he's entertaining and engaging, and he does all this funny stuff. I think that is better. I think that's more fun to watch than somebody who's just good at the game. Right.
Wouldn't you rather watch him win in an entertaining way, though, than lose in an entertaining way? Of course.
Way? Like Summit 1G said it, he puts it in a good way. You either, as far as a couple things to be successful on Twitch, you either need to be, really great at the game or a hell of an entertainer. But in a perfect world, you would have both, right?
Well, I
But
mean, that's what you should aim for, I feel like.
I mean, yeah, I
Always.
mean, certainly, you know, if I certainly think it helps, but I don't think that. Let me put it this way: I don't think that you have to be good at video games to be successful on Twitch. I just don't think that. I think that people are going to be more interested in how you are engaging them and how you're building relationships with them. And I think that speaks to people more than just somebody who's good at a game. I mean, I can sit here, and this is for me personally, but I feel like this is true for most people that are on Twitch. I feel like if I watch somebody who's hilarious, I think that's more fun to me than somebody who's good at the game. You know, of course you would want both, but I think if you had to choose one or the other, I think entertainment beats gameplay 100% of the time. That's just me personally, though.
I don't think I'm the opposite, but I don't like agree. But like I think if like you're really good at the game, it makes up for you not being entertaining, but like you still have to be like entertaining. You still have to be active.
I could agree with that. For sure.
You just have you just have to be like, I mean, I'm gonna use Lethal Frag as an example. Just like dude is genuinely like a good person and just entertaining. And I like watching him, but he's not I don't know. He's amazing at every game he plays. That's for sure too. He gets amazing at whatever. I don't know. It's I don't know. Anyways.
I think you put it in a good way there. Like if you're lacking a little bit in the entertainment department, your gameplay can make up for that and vice versa. I think that's a good way of looking at it.
And also Slurf said balance. Keyword.
Balance. We've been talking a lot about balance tonight. You read the next question, Kitys.
What do you think about overlays that hide out Q types and Q times on multiplayer games? If you can integrate it smoothly, like on For Honor, it might look terrible if you put a black bar in the middle of the screen. But I think it's fine if like.
Interesting question.
It's if you're wondering if it makes an impact because if people leave because they don't want to watch a queue time for a long time, I think it's actually important that the queue time is there because that way they know that you're just not sitting there. They're not just coming into a stream and you're just waiting. Or I mean, you're not waiting for no reason. You like just waiting for a match. They know the match will come eventually.
I think a lot of people have like a matchmaking screen, right? Like they.
Right, they switch the scene and it goes to like they're queuing for a Fortnite match, and that's fine too. That's you interact with the streamer more. I don't know. That's preference.
Darkness 429 has a really great setup where he would have while he's queued up for a match, he would go to a certain screen and it would kind of like give like a top down behind view of like his setup and stuff like that, and then would say, well, looking for a game, and I think like on the left hand side there would be like his like Twitter or something like that going on. So I mean, you can, if you're worried about people, like Kitty said, if you're worried about people getting bored because they're sitting in queue, well, that's where you got to step up and say, well, I gotta fill this dead air, I gotta fill this dead space, and that's where entertaining and engagement comes in. If you're in a game or if you're waiting for a queue for 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes you could talk with your chat, shoot the shit with them, and that's really cool.
Banan Mans makes a great point. For stream sniping, like if
stream sniping, yeah, for sure.
That can help with stream sniping. Like that's like a main reason that makes perfect sense. I didn't even think about that.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
While stream sniping can get like, I know, again, I use For Honor just because it's the main game I play.
Yeah.
Like in For Honor, like sure, it could be frustrating to fight someone. I mean, I don't really care, but it can be frustrating to fight the same person repeatedly or fight someone that is better and you're going to lose every single time. And it's just like,
yeah.
But, yeah. It's fine. I don't think it hinders your stream at all if you have the timer covered. So yeah.
We're still not doing good with time, by the way, kids.
You just want to like
no, let's just roll with it. Let's just roll with it. Yeah. Not gonna
I mean, I live at 555 West 55th on the corner of 55th Street in 55th State. So.
I have a feeling I know who asked that question, by the way, too.
So do I.
Violent Rebirth asks, do you believe being inconsistent with which games you play as a streamer is a death sentence to growing your channel?
Not a death sentence. I'm going to just butt in right here. Being inconsistent with the games you stream.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you read it. I'll answer. I mean, I think you just described variety streaming, and variety streaming is not a death sentence. It's just slower. Like it's slower if you like a massive, huge part of Twitch is luck. You can change your luck by being present more often so that you have a better chance of getting lucky. Like if you stream variety 8 hours a day, then you'll probably grow faster than someone who does variety for 3 hours a day. It's I don't think being inconsistent with the games you play. I think if you play a game for like a week straight and then switch to another game, that's better than playing a different game every day. But I mean, it really depends on the game, the streamer, the schedule, the size of the streamer. It's yeah. I don't think it's a death sentence. No.
I don't think it's a death sentence either. Although I'm a little bit, I don't know how inconsistent is being defined here. Inconsistent, like in the sense that you're just switching games, or inconsistent in the sense that you're streaming like 2 hours one night and then like 4 hours
switching
the next
games
and switching
is what I believe they're saying.
If it's with switching, streaming time is what Violent Rebirth said in the chat.
Well, I'm just wrong.
So yeah, Kitys, great job. And that's kind of where I felt like he was coming from there. That's why I wanted to clarify before answering. But I think I'm pretty confident in saying this, and I'm pretty confident that you'll agree with me when I say this, that inconsistent times I think is problematic. I think that if you stream every single day, or not every single day, but every day you stream is at the same time, I think that that's always better than streaming, if you can help it, if your schedule allows. I think that that's always better than streaming. Like, I'm going to stream at 7 o'clock one day, and then like 3 o'clock the next, and then like midnight the next, and then like, you know what I mean? Like, if your schedule can allow it, I think streaming at the same time every day you decide to stream is going to be helpful in growing better than switching times and days up all the time. Kitys, agree?
I mean, if so, like, say you're playing game A today and you play game B tomorrow, but you both like, then you say you get two people that watch you on day one. This is just a super abstract example, and they know you're going to start at the same time. They care about you for game B. The question is kind of confusing. It matters when your start time is. Like yes. You just said. Yeah. It's not a death sentence, but it doesn't say. Never mind.
It's not a death sentence. It's not a death sentence either way, for sure. But it's gonna be harder because everybody's on a schedule, not just you. Yeah.
Like,
and so if your schedule's lining up, everybody has either work, from a certain amount of time in the day. Everybody has school. Everybody eats dinner at a certain, more or less around the, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not just you that has a schedule. It's everybody watching you as well. So if they know that they don't have to change your schedule to watch you, they're going to be more likely to watch you more often, in my opinion.
What do you think of Alfred Ben's comment? Should we ban him?
Can you answer questions slower? Yeah, let's ban. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're trying to get through it, guys, because we don't want this to go 3 hours, so
like we did last time.
Yeah. I'll just ask this because I don't know who asked the last one. Violent Rebirth asks again, what's more important as stream content, personality, entertainment, or gameplay? I think I answered this already, Kitys.
Yeah, we already answered this.
Yeah. For me, entertainment beats gameplay, but they can supplement each other, which, i.e., if you're lacking a little bit in the personality entertainment department, but you're a hell of an Overwatch player, that's good. That's better than lacking in both. It's important to make... not sure I understand this question regarding emotes.
Is it important to promote people, or do you feel the community would sub to you regardless if your personality gameplay is good enough?
Oh, emotes, dank emotes, gotcha.
Dank emotes.
So are emotes important to your channel?
Yes, very, very important. Okay, emotes are free advertising. That sounds horrible.
Yeah,
but like the better looking emotes you have, like people are gonna people sub for emotes. That's just. That's why some people sub.
I mean, they don't sub just for emotes, but that's that's one of the big benefits to subbing.
It's like a huge part. Like I'd like if I'm gonna sub to a streamer, they gotta have good looking emotes.
I see it a little bit differently, honestly. I think
You'd be surprised, Rue VP.
I think that emotes is one of the biggest benefits to subbing for a channel, but I think you want the people that are going to sub because they want to support the channel. I think those are the people that you want. It's great, but I mean, yeah, if you're Forzen and you sub for Forzen E because Forzen E is a hilarious emote, that's great for Forzen. But, I guarantee Forzen is thinking in the back of his mind, well, what if Forzen E gets old one day? What am I going to do then? If people get sick of Forzen E, and then I lose a bunch of subs, because they were just subbed for the emote, that's going to be a problem, right? So I think that emotes, I think it's all supplemental. I think the streamer should always be the focus, and everything else supplements that. The emotes supplement the streamer. Your streaming style supplements you as a person. Your community supplements you. I think that, I don't know. I think that emotes are a great added benefit. I don't think for most people, like for me, I want people to sub to me because they want to support me and they want to support the channel. That's why I feel like most people sub. I don't think it's as much the emotes, but emotes certainly help for sure.
I think emotes play like a massive part. Like if I'm on the edge of subbing, but like I look and they have bad emotes, I might not want to sub. Like I might want to be a part of the community, but I can be a part of the community without subbing if the emotes don't get used a lot. So, I don't know. Maybe like I see emotes being massively important. Like they're like a main part of Twitch. They're a pillar of Twitch, and the better emotes you have, the more likely people are to subscribe.
They are a pillar of Twitch. That is, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like you said, the last week you went into YouTube and you tried to use Kappa. Kappa wasn't a thing in YouTube, and you were like, "Oh, this is weird." So yeah, emotes are a huge part. I still think though, and we can agree to disagree on this because it sounds like we're not gonna agree. But
no, we're not.
We just have a different view on it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's everything.
It doesn't mean I hate you any more than I already do, Kitys. John Ale12 asks, I don't know if this was asked before, what streamers do you look up to? We talked about that a little bit last time. Say No to Rage is my big one that I look up to. He taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about Twitch. Blitzkilla asked if his question got skipped, and this is your question right here, Blitzkilla. Kitys, why don't you read this one since I read the last couple?
Well, so really quick, what streamer I look up to? Lethal Frag. Just if you check him out, like probably one of my favorite streamers on Twitch. I wanted my channel to be like his, and I realized how insanely difficult that was a couple months ago. But anyways, yeah. I have a heart
before actually you, because Slow Revive makes a good point here. If you like two streamers equally, Kitys,
I will literally sub to someone with better emotes.
And one has good emotes, and you only have one, and you have one Twitch Prime sub every month, and you like two streamers equally. Which one will you sub to? The one with better emotes?
Yeah.
It's a good way of putting it.
That's a great point.
Hard to argue against that. Blitzkiller. This is Blitzkiller's question here, Kitys.
I have a hard time talking when there is no one to talk to. It aggravates the crap out of me. I feel like I'm not able to put my all in without someone to talk to, but if I force myself to talk, I feel like I'm trying too hard. Can I get your thoughts on this, and how could I improve?
Toughest part about being a streamer when you're first starting out.
So how could you improve is it's a case by case basis. That's a hard question to answer. That part itself is hard to answer. If you feel like you're forcing yourself to talk though, don't, like, I know that just sounds very foreheadish,
Just
but
talk, forehead.
you have to entertain yourself. You like it's about making yourself laugh. I don't know. That's such a hard question to answer. What do you think?
Um, I think the just talk forehead. I mean, you kind of just gotta
Like
have to do it. You know,
like
like, go ahead. It sounds
well
like you're not finished with your thought.
well I mean I told you to talk and now I'm interrupting you. But
Yeah, it's
like
okay.
if you just start talking, you'll eventually learn what you need to say or what you can say to yourself that makes you happy or that makes other people happy. Like you got to just do it. You can't be worried if you sound um a certain way. Like it just happens. Think out loud. Yeah, Alfred Ben just put like think out loud. That's a great answer as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What Alfred Ben said was think out loud. Like I said this a little bit last week on the last episode of the podcast. Just be a good streamer, forehead. When I first started out, I took the approach of throwing literally everything against the wall and seeing what sticks. I talked about my dog. I talked about my job. I talked about my wedding coming up. I talked about the vacation I was going to go on, the honeymoon, the game, how Valkyrie's still a crappy character after a year and a half. She still sucks. But I talked about it. How For Honor in the direction of the game. Kitty's his face right now. The direction I think the game is heading. You know, I mean, just I talked legitimately about every single thing because I felt like that if I take that approach, eventually what's going to happen is that somebody's going to hear something they want to respond to, whether they agree with you or disagree or whatever, you know. And that's, you don't care about whether they agree with you or disagree with you if it's like a debate point, right? But it doesn't have to be. You know, you don't care if they respond in any way. You just want to get a response. And if it's something, you know, like super negative, like crappy, yeah, you can deal with that. But, you know, maybe if somebody, like I would get people coming in and trolling me from time to time on occasion. And then when I would, you know, ban them or roast them a little bit, you know, people would laugh and they'd be like, "Oh, dude, you just got served, bro." Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you just want some type of response. Because once you get that response, no matter what it is, now you're having a conversation. I just hit my mic. Now you're having a conversation, right? So just throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's easy because I can talk until I'm blue in the face. But, you know, if you're somebody who's really quiet, could be more difficult.
So Slow Revives comment, plenty of streamers have always said you need to learn how to talk to yourself. Even if nobody is there, just talk. If somebody shows up and you're dead quiet for 3 minutes, it's awkward and they'll probably leave. There is, I think I don't remember where I read this, but a lot of viewers decide within the first 30 seconds if they're going to stay or leave in a stream. Which, I mean, always talking is hard, but it's just, yeah, again, I feel like I'm half-affing an answer now, but
But I mean, it's true.
you know,
Like, it's a simple answer to a complex problem.
you can be quiet for like a minute. You don't always have to be talking, but
At the beginning,
it's
you kind of
important.
do.
But at the beginning, you do need to, like Mormoth was saying, have your inner monologue just happen. You're just, what you're thinking is what you're saying.
Let it fly, baby. Let it fly. Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. By the way, Mormoth, good to see you, by the way. Let's see what the next question is. Jeebus, smiley face. Kitties.
Hi, new to the stream, and my question is, what are your thoughts on trolls and how do you deal with them? Shout out to my brother Jug, K Kona 7.
K Kona, brother.
K Kona, brother.
You want to take this first?
How do I deal with trolls? At the beginning, I was afraid to dish out. I was afraid to dish out judgment, absolute power. I was like, I don't like. I was like, this person, like, they might change, but now, honestly, trolls don't deserve your time. Just ban them. If you get the slightest inkling this person's going to be an absolute craphead, just gone. That's what I think now. That's how I deal with trolls. Just ban them, and you do have to have a bit of a thick skin. They might call you names, they might make fun of your looks, but you just can't care. Like, it's not caring, it's knowing how to accept what they said or knowing how to deal with what they said.
I think you hit on it briefly. And I think it depends on what you want out of your channel, right? Like, Some people,
That's very true too.
some people love when trolls come in because it gives them an opportunity to roast the troll. And then like say no to rage. Once again, you know, he gets asked this question. He said, you know, somebody asked him, how do you deal with trolls? And he's like, for me, I like roasting them because it gives my community an opportunity to come together and then roast the troll with me. You know, so it like, you know, brings your community together when you're doing something like that. But that might not be for everybody. You know, some people,
And that's not for me.
and that's not for kitties, and that's fine. So I would say for me personally, I engage them a little bit. I don't like roast them back, but you know, like when I'm like my second stream ever, somebody came into my chat and they said something along the lines of, well, you're the most handsome trans streamer I've ever seen, or something like that, like transsexual, whatever. You know, it's like, you know, that was what they said, and I just kind of like rolled with them, like, oh, you know, that's cool, you know, thanks for the compliment, I guess, I appreciate it, how are you, you know, whatever. That's kind of like the attitude that I take towards it, but not everybody's like that. Kitty just wants to ban them outright, and that's fine. Say no to rage wants to roast them, and that's fine too. And I kind of humor them a little bit because I have had on occasion, but it's not the norm, somebody come in and troll me at first, and then I just like kind of, you know, talk with them a little bit and, you know, kind of like bust their chops back, or like kind of like take it lightheartedly, and then they're like, hey, and then they turn into regular viewers, you know. So it doesn't always happen, but it can happen. I will say, but before I let you jump in, kitties, don't make the troll the focus of your stream though. There's a line, if you're gonna take that approach that I do or Say No to Rage does, where you're gonna like humor them for a little bit or roast them for a little bit, there's a point where you need to stop, because then you're giving the troll exactly what they want. You know what I mean?
Attention.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that I just ban them outright is I don't know what that person's going through to act like that. So if I just don't worry about it, I just ban them and leave them. It's not my job to worry about them. So yeah, that's just my point of view on that. Part of the reason I ban them is just because they're being asshats, and I don't want that in my stream. But the other reason is that I just don't know what they're going through, and I don't want to indulge that.
Cool. So there's different approaches at the end. I mean, there's different approaches. How do you want to handle it? You have to determine that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hassar says, if you're starting streaming, how does one motivate themselves to keep doing it, even if no one is watching on a daily basis? Kitties?
That there's no universal answer. Finding what makes streaming important to you is something that you have to find. What makes you want to do it? There can be things like you can listen to other streamers and what helps and motivate them, and what motivates them might be what motivates you. But it's finding what makes it worthwhile to you. Yeah. And if no one watching, and if people watching is what motivates you, then your motivation is to get to a point where people watch you, because someone will come eventually that likes you and stays with you. But yeah, that's my input.
Could not agree with that more. I think you said exactly everything I would say. You first of all, you need to have the right motivations to do it, right? But you have to hold on to those motivations despite what the viewers say. If you want to stream and build relationships with people like I do, you know, I know that's eventually going to happen if I stick with it long enough. You know, so you have to find what motivates you to stream. And then when you do that, you don't sweat the viewers as much. Yeah, it's in the back of your head. You think about it from time to time. But, you know, like, for instance, if your motivation is money and you're starting out and you didn't get $100 in donations your first day, you probably either have the wrong motivation or, well, you have the wrong motivation, right? So when you're not making money, then you know what I mean? So you got to figure out what you're looking for out of it, and then make that the focus, and then the viewers don't matter as much.
If your motivation is money, let's just say that your motivation is money. If you do everything to your stream that you can to make money, then, I mean, again, I think the wrong reason to stream is to make money. I think that's silly. But if your motivation is money and you do everything that you can to make money, then you're gonna have fun in like doing the stream because you're doing what you can to get what you want. Again,
Interesting.
I think trying to make money off stream or streaming to make money is, whatever. But I mean, money's a great perk, but doing like starting up being like, hey, I'm gonna make thousands of dollars every day. Yeah, no.
I'm just gonna be ninja overnight. Forehead.
Yeah. Forehead.
It took me, I will say that on the money thing, there is money in it, of course. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend there isn't money. I'm also not going to sit here and pretend the money isn't nice. It's great. I mean, it's a cool perk, but it's a perk.
Yeah.
It's a perk.
It's a bonus.
Not the focus. And it's never the focus for me. And I think for most people who are doing this for the right reasons, it's not. If it's your focus, though, it's your focus, and then that's it. But it's going to be hard when you're not making money because you don't make a ton. Trust me. I just got to a point in the past month or so, a year after streaming, that I was making anything that I would consider a decent amount of money. But even then, still, I'm so far off to making enough to live off of. Alfred asks, have you considered doing scheduled games, 4 Honor Monday, Wednesday, something else on Tuesday, Thursday, free play Friday? I've considered it. I don't think that that's something that I would do personally, because I'm always looking for the next full-time game that I can play, because I believe that playing one game is a faster path to growth than playing variety. So for me, personally, I'm looking for the next game, whether it be Monster Hunter or Destiny or WoW, that I can play for a year or 6 months or whatever and grow more than I have now. I do think that if you're going to go the variety route, having a schedule, I'm going to play For Honor on Mondays, I'm going to play, Monster Hunter on Tuesdays, I think that could help in viewer retention because they know what you're going to play. But it could also work the other way too. Like if I'm a viewer that just wants to watch you play For Honor, and I know that you're going to be playing Monster Hunter tomorrow, I might not even show up because I know that you're going to be playing a game that I'm not interested in. So it could work both ways. I'm not.
That's
really
what I was just thinking. I think I'd be the latter.
The latter of not showing up if you know that they're playing a game you're not gonna like.
Right, like maybe they'll play that game the next day and I don't know about it and I end up liking that game, but if I've heard bad things about the game, then I don't want to watch it. I think I'm more so the second.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen both approaches. I've seen I'm just a variety streamer and you're not going to know what I'm playing, but you know that I'm going to be playing something different most nights. And I've also seen the schedule approach where I'm playing this on these days and these on these days. I don't know what approach is better than the other. I think each one has advantages and disadvantages. I would say that if you're going to take those approaches, or I think if you're going to take either approach, maybe just give it a shot and see how it works. I mean, and honestly, that's most of this entire thing with streaming on Twitch, is that a lot of times there just is not a right answer. You just have to see what works for you. And what works for you what works for me might not work for Kitys. What works for Kitys might not work for me. It depends on what's working for you. I don't think there's a right answer to that question, though. You can read the last one, Kitys, and then we can start wrapping things up.
Will this podcast be limited to 2 hosts? Also, this is like a 3-part question. Really quick, will this podcast be limited to 2 hosts? We haven't talked about it. I mean, it'd be cool to have another guest on here. But I don't know, like we'd have to contact somebody, we'd have to set it up with somebody. I don't know. Sounds interesting. What do you think? Just no. 2
hosts? I would love, I mean, I know podcasts with 4 hosts. Say No to Rage again. Like, I talk about Say No to Rage a lot because he taught me a lot about streaming. So he does a podcast with 4 hosts. He's got one podcast with 4 hosts, and then he's got another podcast with just 2 hosts like this. For me, I'm not sure. I mean, I would love to have Kitys and I have a guest on because I think Kitys and I bounce off of each other really, really well. And I think having a third person in the mix could really even add to that as a guest, not like as a regular thing, because I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Maybe we could go that direction. My short-term vision for this podcast right here is me and Kitys as the hosts, and then we would have a guest on once in a while. That's how I'm approaching it right now, but that could certainly change.
A guest on once in a while would be good.
Yeah. Next part.
What is the goal of this podcast? Hype, you get to answer this.
So the goal of this podcast, for the time being at least, is to focus on helping people grow on Twitch, and by way of imparting things that we have learned on the platform to help make them more successful. That's the focus of this podcast, and that will be the focus of this podcast until I feel like we just run out of content. And once we run out of content, Kitys and I have talked about, just making this like a thing that we do every week, where we talk about like things that happen in the streaming world, like the big thing that happened to Ninja the other day, or whatever, things related to maybe not even just streaming, but things related, like big news things that are happening with some sort of tie to video games is kind of like what we would talk about after the streaming content has been used up. And then strictly a podcast about streaming. I think that answers that part. That answers that. Cool. So cool. We have gone almost 2 hours. That's
we went 30 minutes over. That's better than like 3.
Better than 3 hours over. Kitys and I wanted this to be about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. So we're at an hour 51 minutes right now since I've been recording this. So that's cool. That's good. I like that. I think that's it, guys. So we're going to wrap this up. Kitys, any final thoughts before we let everybody go for the evening?
No, I think that was good. I think that was a good podcast, and I think the questions that were asked were good. There was only one toxic person in chat the whole time, and yeah.
Don't be toxic in chat, guys. Jeez, oh Pete. God blessed. I should make a Hyperion 4 God bless emote.
Hyperion 4 God bless it. I could see it.
Oh my! I say God bless it a lot, especially since I've been playing Monster Hunter.
God bless it.
God bless it. Oh, fiddlesticks. All right, so yeah, that's it, guys. I'm gonna let Kitys go here. So thank you so much, Kitys, for joining me. I appreciate you, dude. I will talk to you very, very soon. And that's going to end the podcast portion of the stream here. So thank you all so much for watching. I will stay live for a little bit, so don't go anywhere just yet. But thank you guys so much for being a part of the podcast. I look forward to doing this with you next week again. Kitys, thank you so much for doing this with me as always. And hopefully you guys learned something, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Have a great one.